All right, welcome back to On the Line, a fishing podcast where we talk bass, baits, and the big moments from the water. I'm your host, Tony, and alongside my brother and co-host, Tim. And tonight's extra special. It's packed. We're celebrating Kansas Kayak Anglers Big Bass Bonanza, drawing some prizes for the participants, and talking about some big baits with Golden Belt Customs owner Mike Stacey. So make sure you drop any of your questions in the chat. But let me start out with the introductions. First off, Mike Stacey from Golden Belt Customs. How you doing tonight, Mike?
Doing great, man. How are you guys?
Thanks.
Doing good.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
And
My pleasure.
And the big bass winner for the Big Bass Bonanza, Scott Rees. How you doing, Scott?
Doing great. Glad to be here.
As I've dubbed him, Mr. Monthly, Matt Skucius. How you doing?
Good. I'm here.
And the big old bass for the year, but you weren't in big bass. The Troy Nydeggers, how much was it? 22 and a half?
Around there, yeah.
Around that in September. So we wanted to have him on, talk big baits and big bass with him too. Well, I'm going to turn it over to Tim, where he's going to talk to Mike Stacey about Golden Belt Customs.
Yeah. So, Mike, good to have you on the show. So basically, we're going to ask, how did you get started into the business and how it came to life?
Well, I had a friend that moved to Arkansas, and things didn't work out for him down there. So, and then he ended up moving back. But he and I, we've been friends for 25 years or so. He comes back, and he's like, you should have seen the baits that this guy was chunking down there. And I was like, oh yeah. And we've always fished together. We've always been good friends and fishing all the time. And so he was telling me about these glide baits. I'd never heard about them. So I got them online when I looked for them. And back then, this is 2015-ish. That's about as well as I can remember, because I remember the whole Trump presidency coming in. So it's somewhere 2014, 2015 area. Anyway, I tried to get my hands on some of these glide baits that these people, and I wanted a custom glide. I didn't want anything that, you could buy at Bass Pro or anything like that. I wanted some of these custom things I was seeing online, and I couldn't get my hands on them. When I finally did, and I won't say the name of the bait, but it's a very popular one now, like extremely popular, but mine was not very good. And I paid $125 for it, my very first glide bait. And so it didn't work out for me. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to try to make my own, because I can't find one. And back then, these were hard to find. They were hard to get. So when you did get your hands on one, if it was a dud like mine, it just, it didn't swim. Anyway, so I started whittling on wood, and this is the first glide bait that I made.
Oh, nice.
And I took it out and I caught a 5.3 pound largemouth on it.
Wow.
Like the very first time. So I was hooked. So I made a larger one, and I ended up, I kept this, I put it on the wall because I threw it against a rock, like right after I caught it and chipped it. And I was like, oh, I can't do that. That's my very first one, And my first glide bait fish was a stud for Kansas. So then I made a bigger one. I caught a couple 6-pounders on different different ones of these lures, but that I had, I was using broom bristles as a tail. This one I've changed the tail and put a new one in. So anyway, I don't want to draw it out, but that's how it happened. And then after that, I started getting into, sorry, my son just walked in.
You're good.
I started getting into Swim Bait Universe, which you can see all the banners up here. I don't know if you can see those or not, but and I came up with the what I called the harvester, which that is a harvester. And I started selling them. Like I just kind of shared it online. I was like, hey, I made this bait. What do you guys think? And a couple of guys bought it, and this thing has caught a lot of PBs for people. So very popular bait. I think the first month I sold 80 of them.
Oh
I had to learn how to make them fast. So, and to this day, that's some people's favorite bait. So that's how it started. And from there, it just, I've even got I'm making a trout now.
Okay.
So almost 8 ounces.
Now, does your baits come with hooks on them as well, or do you?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's just safer without them.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Understandable.
Yeah. So, and I use only premium hooks. Like there's one with hooks on it. Actually, it has some line on it. This is one I was throwing apparently.
Yep.
So sometimes I get into my selling stash and I throw them, but
Quality testing.
Anyway, yeah, I don't want to draw it out. That's how I got into it. That's how it started. So, and then it just kind of went from there. And I'm a full-time mason, stone mason. So I generally do this during the winter mostly. And I travel to the East Coast and I'll go to different swim bait shows. And I've been going to the Bassmaster Classic and doing well. So I've got a lot of pros that throw my baits. Of course, they never, they're never going to tell anyone.
Yeah.
So, but yes, I've met a lot of people. It's been a cool journey. I take my kids and my wife sometimes to go to these shows and stuff. So it's just been a really neat thing for us.
And they're all made here in the U.S., right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think that all my hooks are made in either Taiwan or Japan because I only use premium hooks. I mean, it'd be a shame to spend like that kind of time building a bait and then put a crappy hook on it. So, yeah, these are some that I'm building right now for customers. They're in the sanding phase.
Okay. So that brings us to the next kind of question. Like, how long does it take? What's the process and from start to finish, and how long does that take for one bait? And
well, so I've got the room where I mold them, where I have all my molds and all that stuff is in the house. I'm in my shop.
sure. Yeah.
But in the house, it's a nice 70 degrees year round. Humidity is good. And that's very important for molding these baits. The materials are very, very sensitive to moisture and temperature differences. So to get a consistent swim, I've learned over time that it is very important to mold them in the exact temperature every time. So, and try to, it's in my basement as well. So it's a very stable climate.
Nice.
But I had to rig up a fan. I bought a great big fan and put it in there because all this stuff is toxic as well.
Yeah.
So I built a thing with plexiglass to where I can work and
finger or anything.
right. It sucks all the stuff out of there. So I think I have a large dryer vent that I ran up through the drop ceiling. But so then once I get them in there and I let them sit for 2 or 3 days. So to answer your question, I could probably make one in 4 days, but not with the cure time. I like them to sit in that temperature for 3 or 4 days. And I'll come out and then I've got to sand it, put the hardware on, all that. I take it out. I test swim every bait. And I usually do that out the sand pit out here. I have a membership to a private sand pit, and I'll go out there and just take a whole plethora of baits and I, make sure they all work. Then I dehook them and do a final sand, which is where these are right now. I get some spot putty and go over them, make sure there's no problems. Then they go to paint. which I have a paint room right over here, and I paint and clear coat them in there. So
Do you do custom colors as well, like a customer in South
yeah,
Carolina?
absolutely. That's on my website.
Yep.
So if you want to put in the comments like something that you haven't seen, I don't have colors on my website because I just tell people to go find your inspiration on my Facebook page.
Yep.
You'll see all the stuff I've been posting, different colors. Sorry, I'm getting them. So I urge people to go to Golden Belt Customs Facebook and just start flipping down through it. And you'll find some really cool swim videos. You're going to find all kinds of stuff that, you know, that you're probably going to ask anyway, put it that way. So the swim videos are really cool, the ones I've posted on there. And some of them, some other people have done. I even liked my crank down. A guy, he put a camera on his line and cranked it down, and it was kind of neat. So I did post that on there, but that's my website that's up right there. Okay. So you would want to, if you were going to order a bait, you just order it and then put in the comments what color you would like, or just describe it. Or I prefer that people text or call me. Honestly, I'm old school, so you can use the email thing or whatever. Okay. But yeah, I'm not very good at typing, so put it that way. So I would say to build one a week with all the with the wait time and everything. Yeah, so, there's a reason they cost what they do.
Yeah,
and the materials are very expensive as well.
Yeah. So there's a guy sitting down there, Matt. I believe you won one last year, and you actually went out and caught a nice bass on it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Sweet.
There it is.
I went out. I think it was December 1st, and I was getting into like the swim bait game, and I picked this.
That's a sickle.
I picked this out. It's got like a little pink hue to it. I don't know if I can get that in the light. But to me, it almost resembled like a shad dying going into the winter season, like a shad kill. And yeah, my first time out with that bait on a lake close by, caught 19.5-inch largemouth and hooked after that. So and then Scott got me hooked.
Did you get to watch him hit it?
So. Say what?
Did you get to watch him hit it?
No.
No? A lot of times you get to see the action. That's what I like about glide bait. You get to see them hammer it and how they react. And that's awesome. That's awesome that you did that. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. So, in your opinion, what makes a great glide bait? The way it glides, the way it moves?
Okay. So there's two different styles. This would be like a chop bait.
Yep.
Like, so you're gonna run that in there, and I like to use a high speed reel, and I will just bam, bam, bam with my just half reel turns, and this thing will about face faster than you can see it, and that drives them crazy. I like to do that and not hardly move the bait, but just put it in a fishy spot near a bush or something like that and bring them out to it. Oh, no. Just try to move it as much as you can without actually moving it back toward you.
And which model is that, Mike? Which model is that one?
This is the Harvester.
Okay.
And we're giving this away tonight.
Uh-oh. Matt, you can't win since you've already won one. Sorry.
So then this is the one. This is another one we're going to be giving away tonight. I really like that colors pattern.
Oh, yeah. I do too.
It's got a lot of underlying. It took me years to learn to paint like that. The first ones weren't that great, but they did work.
Yeah. Yep.
So this one has more of like a S, like a serpentine, to where the Harvester, it'll just, if you burn it in, it's just, it's just really fast. You can't hardly see it move. This one's more of a serpentine and a better glide. So let's say they're reacting to your harvester, but you're not, they're following it, but they're not committing. They want something a little slower or something that they can look at that looks very realistic. It's got a big eye to tease them, whatever. The one I've found, and you can glide this thing out so much easier than you can a chop bait. That's where you can chop this thing back and forth as well, but it is more sensitive to that sort of fishing, really fast fishing. It'll tend to get out of cadence if you don't, a couple of wrong inputs and you're starting over. So, but really soft, subtle, and this thing will just glide out, just the way a glide is supposed to. So this is more of an actual glide than a chop bait.
Okay.
But that's basically your two different styles. The trout, obviously, this thing will glide out 4 or 5 feet. These things are amazing. I had some guys told me they wanted me to make one, so I did.
So do you find that they hit when it stops or when you start pulling the bait out again?
Man, I tell you what, as soon as that bait hits the water, and this is very important, guys, and I don't care if you're crankbait fishing or if you're glide fishing or if you got my crank downs or even just a top water, as soon as that bait hits the water, you want to start moving it. It needs to be in action. Don't let it sit there. That's very important with a crankbait. If a crankbait sits on the top of the water and floats for 2 seconds, you've probably missed the fish that you wanted. It should hit the water going down. You should be retrieving it as soon as it hits the water. Same with a glide bait. So here's what I think that a fish would see. This is my take. All of a sudden something goes kaboosh, and they're very sensitive to that. And you're throwing a large glide bait. You want that thing to hit the water, and you want to give it like an immediate reel pop or just a twitch or something to get it to move sideways, because it's going to mimic like something made this thing scared, and it's going to cause a reaction bite. If you just throw it out there and it's just kind of floating in the same spot, I just don't feel like that looks as real. If a bass was chasing that shad, it wouldn't just jump out of the water and land right there and just sit there. It'd be taken off one way or the other. So I get a lot of bites right at that point, the first or second pop.
Okay. And Matt, Scott, and Troy, if you want to ask a question too, feel more than free to ask him. So if you have something to add.
Cedar Bluff is very good too for these.
Really?
Just so you guys know. It's very good out there.
Well, you can tell me after the show which one's the best one that you guys got there.
The harvester.
I don't know which one's the best, but I know which one I like to use. And
Scott knows.
This is my favorite lure, and it's a little big for a lot of people, but it's called my Scythe, or some people say Scythe.
Yep.
But 4 ounces, 8.5 inches. You can chop it, you can glide it, but at Cedar Bluff, they will eat this.
Really?
Yeah. But I have guys winning tournaments out there with this, so they'll eat them both.
Yeah.
Even though there's a huge size difference. It's just whatever you are good at using, I think, is what it comes down to.
Just curious, Mike, do you ever sell any unpainted blanks?
Yeah. I usually knock about $20 off, and yeah. And I'll send them with the hooks and the eyes so that guys can, you can glue the eyes on and put whatever, you can have someone else paint it if you want. I don't get a lot of that, but I will do it. I've done it before. And some people fish with raw resin. Man, it works.
Hard to beat a bone. Bone color works great. That's what that resin really looks like.
Yep. So I know a lot of people that buy them that way, and they just ask me to go ahead and glue the eyes on and send it. So they just fish them that way. But that's, like I said, if you were going to order one like that, you'd probably want to just look up my number on the website, and then, give me a call or a text and tell me that's what we want to do. And that way I can adjust the payment.
Nice.
So, mhm.
With all the testing that you do, Mike, is there a specific rod that you think works best?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
You already showed us.
You asked.
Do not tell Matt though. Do not bring it. No, go ahead. We are
going to talk about that later, but you can show them real quick.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to do that now?
Well, we'll get into it later, but you're welcome to show the rod that you like, and go ahead. You were showing us earlier.
Pretty sick. It's a pretty sick rod.
So, if you're looking at a something that you can buy off, Miller Rods has this one. I like it. It's great. It's the Crank Freak Power. It's designed for deep crankbaits, the big ones that go down 30 feet, but it's a very, very good glide bait rod. So, and this one, it's 8 feet long, but you can do that. Take it off, put this in your truck so it doesn't get all dirty, or in the cab, I guess. So if you were just going to buy one, retail, or what's the word I'm looking for? Just from a company, I'd like Miller rods.
Okay.
And Douglas makes a few good ones too. I just like this one because it breaks down and it handles the baits really well. And it's 8 feet long, so you can do that really nice, easy cast, and that bait will go a long ways. So now I actually have a friend that builds these in Larned, Kansas, and these are spectacular. So he built these for me. He came over, he brought me a bunch of blanks. He was like, what do you want? What do you need? And it's got a 300 HG Curado. I told him I want it balanced so you can this thing melts in your hand. It's just sitting there.
Mm.
So you're not fighting the bait.
Yep.
The weight of the bait, or the weight of the rod plus the bait. So that makes a big difference. A lot of swim bait rods are very front heavy, and I can't stand that. So I like a balanced rod, and that's with the reel on it. It's also balanced without it. He'll personalize them. He'll put whatever you want on them, but I don't know if you can see how cool. He puts a lot of time into these things. It's about a $300 rod. Both of these are actually, and they're built right here in, Larned.
Yep. And what's the weight of that? What's that? Is that medium or medium heavy or heavy or? And then,
I asked him not to put the sticker on mine, and his name is Brian Dupas. It's Grump's Custom Rods, and I think he has a website, but I want him to say exactly what it is because I can't remember. I know it's rated for like 1 to 3 ounces, but it'll handle 4. I know that because I throw my skies on it all the time, and it's 4 ounces. So he'll do a split grip, or for you kayakers, he could shorten the grip. If you're throwing with standing or not standing, you're sitting down or whatever. Anyway, it's a phenomenal rod. I love it. Everybody that's bought one so far,
there it is.
Absolutely. I've reached back out to them. A couple of guys have bought a few more, but nobody has said that there was anything they didn't like. So that's good.
I think I got their website pulled up here.
Oh, you have it?
Yep.
Yeah, that's Brian. Brian Dupas is his name. He's a good friend of mine.
Excellent.
So, go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, he'll build you a custom rod, whether it's for a spinning rod or whatever. You just tell him what you want.
Nice.
I think,
But he made these especially these are for my glide bait. They will handle everything on this table except for the trout.
Okay.
Tim, you might need one of these. It says here I've doubled my hook set since I started fishing with a Grumps custom rod fishing.
Done. So the running joke is I miss like every other fish. So I lost a 20-inch smallmouth out at Wilson. So that hurt me a little bit, but
He did that the other day with a crankbait.
really.
Yep. That wasn't cool.
Wilson's still fishing pretty dang good. I mean, it's got some pretty big fish still in there. So
It was a big smallie in Marshall Cove. Yep.
very nice.
And it's still there.
With a couple hook marks in it. so Mike,
Very, very little. I mean, I felt a little pressure, but there wasn't a lot.
Oh, really?
So, but it swirled right at the boat, and I have a tendency to catch some pretty good sized smallmouth out there.
Yeah.
So, I love that lake.
So Mike, glide baits are a little pricey. So if you had one glide bait to pick for Kansas in general, is there one that you pick out and be like, this is what you need to start with, this is the easiest to use, or possibly is there one that you would pick out for somebody that wants to just maybe grab one of them from you?
So if you're a beginner and you've never thrown anything before, I highly recommend the Swather.
Okay.
Or the Harvester. And the Swather, let's see. So actually, I think I would recommend the Harvester because it's more of a glide bait. But here's a little 5.5 inch Swather.
Okay.
So 6 3/4 inch, 2 ounces, 5.5 inch, 1 ounce.
Okay.
So you can throw this on conventional.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
I said you could throw that on a regular rod then, basically, heavy rod, like a 7.
Yeah, you can throw this thing on my kids throw it on a spinning rod.
Okay. Very nice.
And how many ounces was that again?
But I think I would probably, if it was somebody that was going to try to get into this style of fishing, this would be my choice.
Okay. Perfect.
And this works really well at Wilson too. If you can get around some beaver dams, that works really well.
Matt's taking notes over here.
I've got one in my cart.
All the beaver dams I know about, they're 10 foot high and dry.
Yeah, they are.
Also, some of those areas over by the bridge, that's a bluegill, but it's a crappie pattern. And I caught 2 4-pounders back to back over by the bridge. It was Memorial weekend.
Oh,
back to back casts on this bait.
Smallmouth or largemouth?
Both largemouth.
Wow.
I think they were garden fry or something. They were spawned out, but I think they were garden fry, I think.
Okay.
But you start twitching something like that near them, they'll react. So
very nice. So what's next for 2026, Mike? Anything new coming out?
I don't know why, but I don't know if it's if it's me or what.
Oh,
yeah, that was cutting out just a little bit, but I think you're good now.
Nope. I think we lost him.
I'm having trouble hearing what you're saying. It's probably my phone.
No, you're good. Do you have anything new coming out for 2026? Oh, he's well. We can move on, Tony, and then come back to him.
Yeah,
you want to go ahead and start with the next segment?
Sure. So next we would kind of just talk to Kansas kayak angler guys here, Scott, Matt, Troy. Just got some questions for you. Scott, I'm going to start with you because congratulations on winning the big Bass Bonanza.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me see if I can add Mike back to stage here. Can you hear us now, Mike?
I'm going to try to turn on my Wi-Fi and see if that helps. It may help. It may hurt.
Sounds good.
All right. Okay. So congratulations on the Big Bass Bonanza, winning that. I'm pretty sure we all knew you were going to. Just yeah.
You started out a little slow, and I was like, I got a chance.
Yeah. When I was doing the updates, I noticed, I think it was the September when I did the updates for the Big Bass Bonanza. You were only, I think it was that, you're 14 inches behind with one less fish. So I was like, well, as long as he catches like a 14, 15 inch bass, he'll be fine. So anyway,
Yeah. I didn't join till April, so I was a little behind, but
yeah,
that was the goal this year, is to try to do well and win this. But I knew Matt was going to be right up there, chasing me down. So I wasn't sure going to go.
He was. So what was the most memorable or best story of your big basses? All of them this year were big, but like, what was the one that stands out to you the most?
There are a couple, I guess, that stand out. Probably that first one I caught in April was pretty memorable because I started a month late, so I wanted to get a good start in that first month, and I picked a day that I thought was going to be good, and I went to a place that traditionally has been very, very tough, but it can be very good. So I took a chance to go out there and thought I might have a chance of catching a really, really big one that first month to start out good. And so I went out there, and it actually started kind of slow, but about midday, I hooked into a big fish that ended up being like 21 inches, which is kind of the minimum I wanted to try to catch that day. So I was happy with that. And then shortly after, pitched in. I think I caught that first one on just a Texas rig craw.
Okay.
But pitched in about an hour later and set into something really big, and ended up being that 22 incher. Ended up being biggest fish as far as weight for me for the year. It was 614.
Wow.
And so that was good. That got my first month off to a good start, and so that was exciting because it worked out how I was hoping to. It could have very easily ended up in a skunk that day, but it turned out pretty good. There's another fish that I can thank Matt for helping me catch. He probably doesn't realize it, but I caught that 21 and a half incher mid-season. I was out fishing, and it really seemed like a slow day. I caught a few fish, but they were small. Was just not very productive, and didn't have a great feeling. I was about ready to pack it up and leave, and rounded the corner, ran into Matt, and he asked me how it was going. I said, not good. I'm not really catching much and nothing big. And asked him how he was doing. He was like, oh, I guess I won't tell you how I'm doing. He had already caught a couple 19s and a 20.
Of course he did.
So I was forcing the big bait bite, and it just wasn't happening. And I won't say what he was using, but he wasn't using a big bait at the time I saw him. So I had some smaller stuff, conventional stuff rigged up, and I like that kind of told me I need to switch it up and try something different. So I told him, I was like, I'm going to go across the way and try this other bank over here, try something different. And if I don't get bit pretty quick, I'm going to head out, go somewhere else. So I crossed the lake and went over there and started throwing a tube. And within about 30 minutes, caught 3 or 4 good fish, not big fish, but pretty good fish. And went around a corner to a place where I knew there was a potential for a big fish, and tossed that tube in there and caught that 21 and a half incher about 45 minutes after I'd seen Matt and was about ready to pack it up. So he motivated me to keep going and switch it up. And so that one was pretty memorable. And then the last one that the longest of the year was 22 and a quarter for me. It was another day that was kind of slow. I caught some decent fish, but I was looking for a big upgrade for the month. And it was one of those situations where I was heading back to the ramp, and I thought, I'm going to hit one more spot before I get out of here. And went up to this dock and pitched. I was throwing a big glide bait at the time, and so threw it alongside this dock. And like Mike was saying, within the first twitch or two, this giant fish shot out from this ladder and hit it, and it was probably one of the top 5 bites I've ever had. Just,
Oh, wow.
You could see it shoot out, just a giant, almost like a topwater bite, because it was just subsurface.
That's
just
awesome.
Big, huge swirl. About knocked the rod out of my hand, and luckily it was pretty close to the boat, so it wasn't a big fight, but I got it in the net quick, and that one would end up being, like I said, the longest fish of the year, not the heaviest, but the longest. And at that time, I knew if I caught another really good one, that probably I was set for the rest of the months, as long as I could catch something decent then. So that was another memorable one.
I gotta come fishing with you more often.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna catch him. I just want to see this happen.
Yeah, my fish are the size of glide baits, so.
Yeah. Well, thanks. So Matt, I'll ask you a question. You're really consistent all year. You catching a lot of bigger fish all year. Any juice you want to give out or tell us about?
Probably the best thing I got going for me is I got 4 or 5 lakes close by. One of them's 10 minutes away. I mean, I can get off work at 3:30 and be at the lake by 4. So just the ability to get on the water, spend time on the water, like get in a rhythm, figure out what they're doing, and then just get like a pattern together and get a pattern to go together and go with it. So.
Yeah. Do you usually feed them before you put them back?
I take my little fish whistle and I'll call to them, and they'll come to the kayak and then just jump in the net for me.
Give them some pieces of steak or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hot dogs.
Yeah.
But
Unless I catch.
no, I think I got it. I think I got it pretty good where I'm at. So a lot of guys know where I fish, and it's a small body of water. It's Gary County, south of Junction City, 10 minutes. It's a small body of water, but there's just so much diversity out there. Bluffs, shallows, flats, weeds, rocks. And they're always holding on to something different, it seems like. So that's constantly challenging me to try to become better, to figure out what they're doing during each time of the year. And it's a fairly clear lake. It does get stained from time to time. So it's to me, it's a good fishery. It's something I can get to easily. And a lot of the big boats don't go fish it. They go to Milford and spend their time there.
So Matt, on that, is it a good winter lake, or does it just turn off during winter?
So last winter was like the first time I actually fished it in December. And it's when I was throwing that custom glide bait. And I actually did well with it. I was actually impressed. Right now I'm kind of addicted to the tree stand and trying to shoot a deer, but once that's done and over with, I'll be going back out for sure, just to see how the winter bite is and see if it gets any better.
Okay.
Well, thanks for coming off the tree stand to do the podcast. So Troy, you've got some big fish this year. Anything's particular been clicking for you this year? Anything new you've tried, or just keep kicking it old school?
Most of my big fish this year come off a jig. I mean, I love flipping a jig into cover. I will say the one that I had for the monthly, that 22 and a quarter, hit a square bill. There's a couple lakes around here. I mean, kind of like Matt, we've all got our honey holes, right? There's a particular lake, couple lakes around here that I know if you hit the right angles, you hit the right, the right lures, the right lanes, there's some big ones that live there. So, that big one on a square bill, but most of the other bigger fish I've caught this year, mainly on a jig, just dragging dragging or flipping into cover, flipping under docks.
Excellent. So this question's for everybody. Mike, can you hear us again? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So when you're hunting for giants, do you just throw a big glide bait, big baits all the time, or do you like, okay, I need to throw it? Like Scott, you kind of said that you switched it up, but Mike, do you just always throw big baits, your own baits you make?
Yeah, if I'm hunting for a giant, I've got my GoPro on the boat, which usually means I'm not going to catch anything. So I only throw my baits in front of the GoPro just in case that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I go to Texas. Yeah, I'll travel to try to do that and make it happen. But I want to catch it on tape.
Excellent. Scott, what about
I'd say
you?
like for me, this time of year, I've been throwing the glide baits more.
Yeah, it's a good time.
And I know they say you got to go out and you just got to throw the glide. You got to throw the glide. You got to commit to it all day long. And I have such a hard time doing that. And I will flip a jig. And but even like this past weekend when I was telling you earlier, I caught that bigger smallmouth. I got out there and I was chucking a glide for a while, and I threw a mag draft for a while, and nothing. So I will admit I got the Ned rig out and I flipped it around a couple times and hooked a decent one, and immediately put it down and started chucking the swim bait again. And that's when I caught that 4-pound smallie. So it's hard to commit to it, but if you can commit to that bigger bait, you'll get the bigger fish for sure.
How many of you guys watch the lunar windows?
Not as much as I should.
A little bit, yeah.
I used to be real big on that. Not so much anymore, just because we fish so many tournaments. And then my mindset is you got to go fish when you can't affect the lunar cycle on a tournament day. But so you got to be able to catch them whenever. But I used to follow that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had some absolutely killer bites during the windows. And I think there's something to it, but like you said, you got to be able to catch them otherwise as well. But during those windows, I am throwing a big glide bait, because if they're going to turn on for 30, 40 minutes, I want to be targeting the biggest fish I can get.
Which do you prefer, full moon, new moon?
Oh, do you guys have the app for Bass Forecast?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll tell you the your major and minor times. And
Okay.
I just kind of go by that. And believe it or not, I've literally watched the fish come alive during those times. But I've also fished through those times and not caught a thing. So obviously I wasn't doing it right. But
I think there's definitely something, I mean, there definitely is something to those lunar cycles. But you got to throw in the weather patterns, the fronts, the pressure, all that stuff combined. But yeah, certainly something to those lunar cycles.
Yeah, what might be a 3 or 4 hour window, you might own 15 minutes of that due to the other, circumstances. But it worked well for me out in I was in North Carolina. I was fishing on Lure Lake, and I hooked the biggest bass that I've ever hooked in my life, and it ended up straightening out the rear hook on my glide, and it got away. But we had it on video, and this was we both think we were 2 people in the boat. We both think it was double digit. But that was during that time, because we were just talking about it. And then all of a sudden this thing came up and hit it. And that was the sky. So, and when the fish came up, its mouth was as wide as this bait. It was a monster. But I only got it with one hook and on the back, and I was trying to get it out of the timber and ended up straightening out the hook.
Wow.
So after that, I changed the hooks. Now I use stronger hooks for everyone. So I learned
That sounds like one of Tim's stories.
What?
I got it on GoPro though now, so
Well, we have that one on GoPro too.
Yeah.
But it was just when a fish gets that big, they actually have like bones, and I think that one hook just stuck right into a bone, and it just straightened it out. So when I got it back, one of them was just peeled back. So, and that was the owner ST36, I believe, 1/0.
Yep.
And so I've gone to these are tornado hooks, but they're more of a 2X. They've got a stronger shank to them. Vector tornado hooks, and the same size, 1/0, but it's a thicker hook, very sharp. And it's got kind of a twist to it, so hopefully that won't happen to me again.
I actually upgraded my hooks on my mag drafts to the ST36 hook. So now I'm kind of wondering.
ST36 is no slouch.
Yeah.
No, but it been out on that fish.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It was a big fish. It was the biggest fish I've ever had. But unfortunately, it didn't get in the boat. But I had it right there on the surface of the water for everybody to see. So just didn't work out. The GoPro was there. That's what happened. If there wasn't a camera in sight, we would have had that in the boat.
So now you can just relive it over and over again.
Oh, I'm reliving it right now. I'm about to cry.
One thing you were talking about lunar cycles. I think there's something to that for sure, although I haven't noticed always a big difference. But what I definitely has noticed, what you guys alluded to, is bite windows for big baits. In the last couple of years since I've been doing this, I have the opposite problem now of what Troy was saying. I sometimes force the big bait bite, and I'll throw it all day because I think it's a good day, and at some point I think it's going to turn on, and I'll go sometimes hours without much, if any bites or maybe a couple follows, and then suddenly something turns on. You flip that switch and you'll have maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour and a half where you catch several, and you can turn a day that you think you might get skunked into suddenly you're catching 90, 95 inches in 45 minutes. So there's definitely something to that bite window for big bites, which makes it kind of difficult because, like I said, sometimes you never know exactly when that's going to happen.
After the tournament's over.
Yeah, exactly. Or in practice day. But yeah, so sometimes I probably throw up more than or longer than I should and kind of force it because I think that's going to happen. And many times it does, but then sometimes it just never seems to turn on, or at least it doesn't turn on in the part of the lake I'm in. But when it happens, it can happen real quick. The other thing I've noticed, I'd be interested to see if you guys have noticed the same thing with big baits in general, is the majority of, I love keeping track of stats for the season so I can look back over and try to learn something. But the majority of my bigger fish for this year and definitely last year have all come in the afternoon. And I don't know what it is, but I think of all the 20 plus inch fish I caught this year, only 2 of them came before 10 o'clock in the morning. Everything else was
usually when I get skunked.
Yeah. Everything else has come like noon to anytime in the evening. And I've looked at other, tournaments. I always kind of look at the results and when the biggest fish were caught. And it's kind of anecdotal, but it seems like a lot of those big fish come in the afternoon for some reason. I didn't know if anyone else had noticed that, but
I might. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I didn't notice that so much this year. I would say probably more of my bigger fish did come later in the day. But last year I would say it was just the opposite. Like that's what's weird. I know a lot of my big fish I caught in 2024 were a morning bite. The biggest one I caught for sure was I had a window. I won the Moyak on Lake of the Ozarks in 2024, and that first hour I caught like a 4-pounder, then a 7.5, and then a 5, and like just all within an hour of each other. But that was all early morning, and that's kind of how 2024 went. But you're right. This year, it seems like if I ever think back, the bigger fish I caught were later in the day.
Yeah.
That explains why Scott sleeps in the morning and doesn't show up till 9, 10 o'clock.
Well, I was just about to say,
If you're not out there to catch them the first hour, then
Yeah.
So Scott, last year at Wilson, when you won that championship or when you won the tournament, it'd been pretty quiet up to the afternoon. Did the glide bait pick, like, did it help you out in the afternoon, the glide bait, or is that what you were throwing at Wilson to get those last couple fish in?
Yeah, I on that tournament I committed to throwing the glide bait the whole day.
Yep.
Because I had done really well at practice finding some fish on that. And so that was one of the times I told myself that, you know, however it goes, I'm going to commit to this all day. I probably only get a few bites, and hopefully, you know, I put them in the boat. But if I do, then I think it's going to be good, because all the fish I was catching were, you know, above average size. I did catch some early, but honestly, that day, I got 6 bites. One of them was a 10-pound channel cat, and the other were the 5 fish that I put on the board.
Wow.
And, although honestly, so I caught 3 largemouth and 2 smallmouth. The 2 smallmouth I didn't technically catch on the big bait, but I would not have caught them without it, because they came out and swiped at it several times, showed themselves, and I threw a follow-up bait, and they hit that right away. So put them in the boat that way. So, and it you know, that the last 2 I caught in the latter half of the day, so I was getting pretty nervous around noon. I only had 3 fish, but
yeah, I seen you around noon. You're like, yeah, I only got 3.
But I stuck with it, and it paid off.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that's another big thing that I don't think people talk about enough. But just like a topwater bite, you know, most people will have you know, something to throw back when they miss your topwater. Throw a wacky or something to follow up. It's real important, I think, for these glide baits. You'll get followers, or you'll get them come up and just swiping at the bait, and to have something to follow up with. Because a lot of times they'll get agitated, or at least you know where they are, and you can throw a jig, or you can throw a Senko or something in there and get them to hit. And that's exactly what those 2, in my experience, smallmouth are notorious for that. The largemouth just seem to come up, and they'll swipe at it, or they either eat it. But the smallmouth, I don't know if they're doing it out of being territorial or what, but they'll come up and just nip. I've had them come up and nip at the tail, literally, just kind of nip at it like they're chasing it away. Or they'll come up, hit it with their mouth closed, trying to chase it away.
Yeah. Yes.
But that's exactly what they did. This fish came out, and I mean, at least 3 or 4 times came out real aggressive on my glide bait, but never really bit it or hooked up. And it would go back to the same spot every time. So I finally, on that one, I think I threw a little, like a small little swim bait underspin in there, and hit that immediately and hooked up and caught that first one. And the second one, shortly after, same thing, came out and kept nipping at the tail and was real aggressive, but wouldn't bite it. And I threw a little Texas crawl or Ned crawl in there, and again, hit it immediately because it was already pretty fired up. So, like I said, I didn't catch them on the glide, but had it not been for that, I probably wouldn't have known where they were.
So, Tony, do you want to ask a couple that Neil asked a couple of questions?
Yeah, follow-up baits. I've never been really good at it myself, but this year I've tried to get better at having a wacky rig ready to kind of follow up. Usually I just let it throw it out there and let it sink, and I've actually caught quite a few fish this year following up with that. So,
yep.
And then didn't ever think about changing it throughout the year. That's the next question for myself. But that's a good idea. So what about you? Anybody else? How about Matt? What about you?
I know on one follow-up bait that I'll throw, say I'm throwing a larger glide and I got smallmouth nipping at it, or even largemouth that'll come out and like swipe at it, but then for some reason turn around and go the other way. I'll sometimes have a fluke tied on,
Yeah.
a smaller fluke, like a junior size, something a smaller profile. Maybe they're more into it. They'll sometimes come around and whack that pretty good.
Mike, what about you?
Top water. I'll wait till I get past them, and I'll throw back because I'm usually fishing out of a bass mode. It may be different on a kayak, but I've noticed that with a large topwater bait like this, or a rat or something like that, once you notice that they're aggressive and they're coming after that glide like that, because I just like to throw big baits. So I'll wait till I'm 2 boat lengths past it, and I'll throw this back and just slowly walk it past them and drive them nuts, get big bites that way. They're scared of the boat.
Yeah.
A lot of times when they come after your glide and they're hitting it with their mouth closed and whatever like that, they're just pushing it. They're being aggressive, but they're just the boat is the problem.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times. But yeah, I would throw a big wake myself. That usually gets their attention really quick.
Nice. Troy?
I like Matt. I prefer a fluke if I've got one tied on. If I don't, though, I've followed up with a Ned rig before and gotten bites. So I think sometimes once you've got them agitated, if you just drop something in there when you know they're there, they'll swipe at it again. And something smaller like that, I think they just they suck it up easier. They get it in their mouth.
Nice.
What about you, Tim?
Wacky rig usually, if I'm throwing top water. But yeah, can't go wrong with that. I'm sure
I
that.
don't think I know Stinky River Tom, but
Nope.
welcome to the show.
Sounds like something that's on Tony's feet.
How's it going? All right.
Well,
So,
you wanna get into it?
yeah, actually, I was gonna say I think we should go ahead and do some drawings. What do you guys think?
Yeah. And Mike, you said there's 5 baits or 4 baits?
There's 5 now.
5. Nice. Dang.
The 5th one for me?
Yeah.
I don't know. But I guess if they draw your name.
We might have to arm wrestle.
Do I need to write these down, or is somebody going to contact me later with who gets what?
I'm happy to do that. Well, I'll be doing that, Tim. We'll have the recording here, so
Yeah, we'll have the recording as well. And then we can get the information out to Tony, and I can just send it to our house, and then we'll make sure they get them.
So you can just like, I guess we can start at the top here. These are the 5 baits. I tried to pick Kansas size baits for you guys.
Oh, sweet.
You know, not the biggest ones. So even though I throw them in Kansas, but yeah, I don't know. I'm happy to mix a big one in if you guys want.
It's completely up to you.
yeah, we're grateful for the sponsorship. So you do whatever you want.
I feel like people, I think when the baits get too big, people tend to not throw them. That's
yeah.
They're the opposite of me.
Well,
and Tom doesn't know how he can enter, but it's if you enter the big bass, then you're automatically
the big Bass Bonanza for Kansas kayak anglers. But hopefully next year we'll be doing this again, and you can join that way. So, all right. So I've got the spinner here. This is everybody that entered this year. So I'm just gonna. You guys see the screen?
If your name
comes up, which one you're picking? You want me to show it?
Oh my goodness! No way! It's rigged.
I'm sorry. That's Tony Brown, not Boyden. That's me, actually.
Isn't there like 6 Tonys on there?
That's the first one out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The last 5 remaining.
Yeah. He gets
okay. Well, I guess it's me. I've had a yeah.
Oh my goodness!
So I'm gonna remove me now. I swear it wasn't rigged. I just entered all the names.
Well, that's the first bait that was up. So.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. That's the one with the pink.
Hey, what
Pink
the
and
heck?
purple?
No, it stopped on my name. Come on.
That's the one I was looking at. That I was eyeballing for smallmouth.
It's a deep crank. They like it.
Yeah.
So
That's
Tony
why I
had
picked
stopped
it.
on my name, and then it went over
And
to John's name.
John wins everything.
Yeah. So John, good job, John.
Yeah, and he won that. We were at the Lake of the Ozarks last weekend, and he won a Sniper Marine for his live scope that he doesn't have, Sniper Marine pole. So
that's who got this one.
yeah, John Q.
He won a
Okay,
couple
John
things
Q.
down there, didn't he?
All right, congratulations.
Yeah,
I guess if you guys want to record that, the pink deep crank down.
is for the second one.
Well, that'd be the first one. That was John's, right?
No, that
No.
was Tony. That was me. I got the first
Oh.
one.
So
It's rigged.
John, okay. So you're on the second one?
Yep.
Yeah, so
That's his?
John Q.
Okay. So he got the white bass pattern shallow crank down. And it comes with different colors of tails, so I'm going to need to talk to him, show him what I got.
Okay.
So changeable tails.
Very
All
nice.
All right, who's next? We ready for next?
Third bait.
This is number 3. What we got for number 3? I'm gonna go ahead and write it down first.
This is a one glide,
One glide.
and it kind of got that pink on top.
That's a gorgeous bait.
Just a shad, kind of like a winter shad, I suppose. It's called the One, ONE.
The one. All right. Everybody's like, who's next? Who's next? I better go ahead and spin it, right? Anticipation.
Oh, sorry, Todd. Mark
All
on
right.
three.
I wonder if Mark's watching that. He watches quite a bit.
Yeah, if you're watching, go ahead and comment.
All right. What's the fourth one, Mike?
The Bone Harvester.
Ooh.
Ooh.
All right, Tony, spin it good.
All right. Kevin, Marty, Kevin.
Oh, Kevin Kerr.
That's a good one. Kevin's the one that makes all of our trophies and everything else.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he does.
Cool.
He does a lot of stuff, volunteer work and stuff down Southeast Kansas. He's got some big. I think pretty sure he throws some big baits. He's gonna love that.
That's a wonderful chop bait.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Yep.
Well, and you said you're gonna give away a fifth one tonight. We were only expecting 4, so
Yeah.
we really
It's another
appreciate
one
that.
glide.
One glide.
And this one is more of a silver top, kind of a gray silver top. I don't know how well you guys can see that.
Yeah. Well,
Looks fantastic.
I have to remove the screen to see it real well. Maybe we can show them all again real quick.
Yeah, we can show them at the end real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
See which one I win at the end here.
Okay. Any bets? Any takers? All right. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be Derek. Derek always wins everything,
He does.
and he watches the show regularly. So. Oh!
Doesn't matter, Scott.
Oh man!
Oh,
Matt wins again,
Wow.
second year in a row. All right, Matt, you're done next year. No more.
All right.
No.
oh, that seemed to bounce around.
All right, so there's Matt's.
Very nice.
Oh, were you going to make it so it's big?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry, I was writing that down. 1 second here.
Yeah, go ahead. No. And then,
All right.
yeah, somebody needs to text me all the information.
I'll take care of it.
Yeah. So that's Matt's.
Awesome.
This
better
is
watch
a
out.
beautiful bait.
You better watch out next year, Scott.
Matt
I
might
know.
come this weekend to get it. Actually, knowing him,
That was it Kevin?
Kevin Kerr. Yeah.
Yep.
The Bone
That's
Harvester,
the Bone Harvester.
and that's gorgeous too.
You just flip this thing in everything, and it's on. Then the other one, like the winter shad.
That's Mark, and he's on. He just jumped on, and he says he appreciates, looking forward to giving it a try next year.
Good
Thanks to
deal.
all you and
Yeah.
sponsors that have made it what you've all done this year. So he's thanking me on that. So
I don't remember the name on this one. Steve. Yeah.
is it the white bass pattern?
Yeah.
Shallow
White
crank?
bass pattern, shallow, crank down.
Yep, John.
That's, John Q.
Yeah, that's Tim Boyd John. Tim Boyd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really like this white bass pattern. It's kind of got some lines in it. I like the yellow fin. So
Yep.
That
How about
resembles a lot of
Of
the
course
yellow
I have.
Scott Wilson.
I got all these colors of tails that I'll give him a pick of 3 or 4 colors to put in it. You just pin them in with a toothpick. So
How deep does that dive down?
about 5 feet.
I think.
Yeah. It's just a shallow crank. It's got a real wide kind of cool looking action. If you look on my Facebook page, there's actually a swim video of this thing,
Okay.
of one of these. It's just one that doesn't have paint, or it's all white, so you can really see it. Then the deep crank down with the first one.
That's mine.
Tony's gonna lose that the first throw out.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
I don't know if you guys can see it, but I actually paid a guy to etch GBC into the lips.
Oh, nice.
Oh, there we go. Now I can see it.
Can you see that?
Yep.
Mhm. Very nice.
I'll put what I'll do is I'll put everybody in a group chat, and I'll message everybody, and whatever's easier. If it's easier just to, I think other than Kevin, everybody lives within 45 minutes of me. So
Yeah.
I'll have to talk to Kevin and see what he wants to do.
Or just
But,
send them to Tony's house. We can pay for shipping or whatever, Mike.
yeah.
Tony
We
can
can
pay
take
for
care of
shipping. I mean, Tony can pay for shipping, and then
Yeah. We'll talk. Wrong button.
Yeah, just let me know if you, I mean, there's a lot of guys in the club. If somebody's coming through Great Bend or something, you know,
Yeah.
we can do it that way too. But
Jay lives in Great Bend, so Jay's.
Yeah, but he might keep them for himself. I don't
Yeah, he
know.
will.
I don't trust you. No. I'm kidding.
Jay's been by my shop before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
all right.
Heck yeah.
Well, man, thanks again. That's
Yeah.
And if
Thank
you guys
so much.
can send me some pics if you catch a fish on it, and
definitely.
yeah, I want to know, because I post that stuff on my, you know,
Yeah.
I'll post that stuff on my Facebook, and it just helps.
Yeah. Well, everybody go out and make sure that if you're not already following his Facebook too, just go out and look for Golden Belt Customs, and then follow the Facebook page too, and you can see all the big fish I catch when I get them posted on there.
Uh-huh.
So,
Hey, Mike, I
I'm
got a
on
question.
Instagram too. I can't remember. It's Golden Belt Customs. Golden Belt Customs 1 Instagram.
Okay.
I had to put the 1 behind it because somebody hacked my account,
Oh, shoot.
so I had to remake it. But I don't go on Instagram much. I'm just more of a Facebook guy. So
same.
I've got it rigged up to where I think it posts it to Instagram as well when I put something on Facebook, but I'm not sure. Like,
Yeah.
seems like it doesn't always work. So
Is that you use the Meta app or whatever?
yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't. You have to post them very particularly. I don't like it either. So I'm right there with you.
I'm not a fan, and I'm old school, so Facebook's like as new school as I get, and it's old school. So I tried the whole Instagram thing. It's like just too much between the two. I tried to join them so I could do that. I could post and it would go to both, and I don't know how often it works. I've just kind of given up on Instagram.
Yeah, I think we all we do some YouTube. Some of us do YouTube and Instagram, all that stuff. We just need like a social media person to do small accounts. Just make all the posts for us, so I don't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well,
yeah, that's why I haven't, like, I guess, gotten bigger than I am, because I just absolutely despise that side of it.
Yeah.
The whole, you need that, but I don't want it. I don't want to do it. So
You can hire Tony.
whatever. I got a day job right now. I'll worry about that later.
Yeah. Same. Well,
So
Hey,
I think
Mike.
Scott had a question real quick.
yeah.
Yeah.
Remind me on the deep crank how deep that runs.
it depends. It's I designed it to run 8 feet deep, but I've had people have it run down easily to 11. One guy said 15 because he just put a little weight on the front hook. You can adjust it, but 8 feet is that was my target, and it easily does 8 to 10 feet.
Okay.
Obviously, the more weight you add to it, it does float up right now, but if you add too much weight, obviously it'll hold it down.
Yeah.
So, but it is very weedless too. Remember that.
Yeah.
There is a swim video of a camera on that bait on my Facebook. If you go down through the videos,
Yeah,
it just shows it going right through the grass.
Yeah, I remember watching that when he posted that. That's pretty cool. I've got
Yeah.
one. I haven't fished it much, but I couldn't remember the depth. But I have your is it this? You said this scythe or the scythe? Is that how you
Yeah.
pronounce it? That's been one of my favorites this year. I've caught a bunch of good fish. I need to be better about taking pictures with it and posting it. But yeah, it's
That's my favorite bait. Period.
Yeah, it's become one of mine. And I'll tell you a quick story. I almost lost it and my heart sank because I was fishing it one day, and it's great, like you said, those wide glides, and I'll use it when I'm fishing docks and I want it to go under the dock when you pull it hard one way and then back out. So I was fishing it like that, and I was coming at the corner of the dock, and I meant to go on the outside of the pole, and it cut inside the pole. And there was either something sharp or zebra mussels or something. As soon as it cut in, it sliced through my line instantly.
Ooh.
And I felt it just leave. My heart sank, and I raced up there thinking it was I could maybe save it. And I got up there, I didn't see it anywhere. It looked like it was gone, and I was sick. And I looked down, and one of the hooks had just stuck in that metal post, and it was sitting there about a foot underwater.
Oh wow!
And I was able to get my net down carefully and knock it loose and save it. So
yeah,
but it's definitely been one of my favorites this year.
Oh man, I can't tell you. Like Cedar Bluff, I that's what I have tied on. I just love how they react to it. They are so aggressive to that bait out there.
And you said, what color do you like to throw at Cedar?
Just any kind of shad. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have it. I think that's the color Matt was showing. I think you called it the winter shad, that pink kind of.
Yeah, that'll work. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that color.
Yeah.
There's some bass out there that are eating bigger shad. You can tell when you throw that bait because
Matt's got one too.
They don't have
that was last December, and that was almost a spitting image of what they were feeding on. That
really
nice.
Yeah, I think that this one here, I really like that color. It's I kind of like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good Kansas winter, like a winter shad.
Good Lake Shawnee maybe bait.
Mm-hmm.
But if you guys have some patterns or something, if you wanted to order something, like I've gotten to where I can paint about anything. I'm not saying that to be like I've gotten really good at it. Put it that way.
Yeah.
So
you ever do any of the videos?
It only took about 6 or 8 years.
You ever do any videos of like when you're painting them and stuff, like on your Facebook? Are they out there too?
I haven't filmed myself painting. I should probably do stuff like that. Because there's no secrets anymore. Like used to be secrets, how you would come up with a pattern. Like I have certain patterns like Freddy's Jam. Here's Freddy's Jam on a trout. That's a good pattern everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's got those spots that disappear.
Yeah.
And they come back, and it just.
That's sick.
I call it Freddie's Jam because Fred Stepp, he's the one that I fish with out in North Carolina. That's the color we developed to, like, he kind of described it. I came up with it and he was like, yeah, that's exactly what I want. So, and it works everywhere. I've sold more of this color than anything. And that's I can put that on any bait. Here's a sky with the same bait, same color. It looks really good on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that's called Freddie's Jam. Yep.
Well, nice. Tony, we want to move into the next segment. And
Yeah, I'd love to see a couple of videos if you ever get a chance to make some painting those. I like watching those videos. That's just me. I watch them all the time and go, oh yeah, I'll never
if I
be able to
do that. I'll probably just Facebook Live it, I guess.
Yeah. That'd be pretty
I
cool.
suppose. That's because I know how to do that, and that's the only thing I know how to do.
And throw some stones down.
Well,
if it's not fishing or riding a dirt bike or Facebook, I don't know.
I should just come out there. Maybe Tim and I'll have to make a trip out there and bring our GoPro and do some footage for you.
Yeah.
So that would be cool. Yeah.
That would be. I would actually like to see that. So maybe for a future.
Yeah, we could do some swim videos. That'd be awesome. I'm always down for. I'm usually by myself when I go out and test these baits and stuff, and I'm like, man,
yeah,
I need to get a drone or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I catch fish when I'm testing baits. Wish I could have caught it, on film.
Something about a drone over the water still scares me a little bit. I'm not. Yeah.
No comment.
Well, I was looking at. They're expensive, but the kind that go out over the ocean and drop the baits.
Yeah.
That they can actually land in the water upside down. They can right themselves and then take off.
Wow.
So I thought if I was going to fly one over the water, I'd probably have that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you can put it in follow mode and just like fire up your boat and go. It'd be cool. If it fell in the water, it'd be like, oh, well, go back and get it.
Yeah. All right.
So,
yeah. So, once again, thanks for all that. We are going to move on to our last segment, which is we actually want to talk about the rigged and ready. It's kind of our segment we do.
Yeah. And Mike, stick around,
just your setups and kind of talk to everybody that throws them. I don't throw them that much, so I'm learning a lot. So Tim, go ahead if you want to talk about setup.
So basically, Mike, why don't we just start with you? We kind of know what you throw with the rod. What's your favorite rod and reel combo to throw a big glide bait?
I'm a Shimano fan. I like the 300 size because I got big hands. I'd like 200s as well, but I can fit more line on a 300, so that's the way I do that. Izerline Platinum is my line of choice, period. That's all I throw. It has very low memory. It's very strong. It's good against those zebra mussels and stuff like that. You still have to watch. Huh?
What pound test do you throw it on?
20, 25.
Okay.
Yeah, usually 20. I'm pretty brave. I'll throw a 4-ounce bait on 20 because I know a guy that makes them. But yeah, that helps. So the rod, we need to go back through that, huh?
I think we're probably good on that, Mike. I think we got it down. But yeah, that's
what's the gear ratio on that?
Yeah, the gear ratio.
Yeah, I like the 7 3-to-1s. I like the faster gears because I feel like I can slow that down easily. If I was throwing like a top water though, like this weight that I'm developing, I don't sell this yet. I'm making it, but
wow.
If I was throwing one of my big rats or something like that, I'm going to do a 5 3-to-1.
Okay.
And I have some Shimano. What are they called?
Corrados?
I have some larger 300 size reels. Tranks. They're Tranks.
Okay.
So I've probably got 7 or 8 good reels that I use for fishing, and they're all Shimano's. So that's just my preference.
That's a wake bait in your hand there? that you're coming
Yeah,
out with?
I'm trying to develop this thing. So it's going to be a chunk,
Oh wow. Yeah.
but it puts off a wake like a boat. And believe it or not, I've seen a lot of wake baits out there. These will draw fish better than like your normal little wakes. So I don't know why. It just it does that.
Yeah.
So the louder, the bigger the wake, and all that seems to make a difference. Especially my guys up at Northeast that fish in like New York and all them. I guess they have a really shallow water there, and a lot of vegetation in it, and they're all about their wakes. So I'm making one for them.
Nice.
And it's going to have the changeable tails as well. But this thing, when it wakes, that tail is out of the water. It's just flopping back. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, that bite will
I'm
be insane.
still playing with the bill, but I'm close. I'm about to get it.
Nice.
So,
Very nice. Scott, what about you? What's your ideal?
What's that? You broke up a little bit.
What's your ideal setup for your big wake baits and swim baits and glide baits?
I don't know if I have an ideal. I have 5 big bait combos now. I had 4. I just bought a new rod the other day. I still haven't got a reel for it, but and they're different brands, and I like them all for different things. So the reel's easy. I'm a Shimano guy also. So my biggest rod, which is a 1/2 ounce to 8 ounce glide bait rod, it's a 8 foot. It's Edge Rods, which is Gary Loomis's new company.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a 300 Corrado on that. The other ones I have 200 Corrados on. I noticed Mike had this too, put a larger handle on them, which really helps to have that extra torque and a high gear ratio, at least 7 or 8, because you're doing a lot of those handle twitches to get it to chop and glide back and forth. So I like the edge rods. I have a St. Croix swim bait Ranger rod that I love. It's super light. It's a 710, so it's a little bit shorter. And I got that because you remember about 3 years ago we got one for John Morse for him being the director, and when I held that we gave to him, I was really impressed with it. It's just a great rod. And I have a iRod. I can't remember which model it is. It's like a 2 to 4 ounce rod. It's the swim bait sniper one. So it's a 7.6. So it's a little bit shorter. So it's great for like pitching and flipping those baits into, around docks or heavy cover. And I have another light setup that goes up to 2 ounces. That's another edge rod. And the new rod I bought for someone just starting, I haven't used it yet, but it feels really good. It's the Carbon Light Tech series. They've got a swim bait rod, like for soft swim baits, and then a glide bait rod. The glide bait rod, it's really light, feels great, has good moderate action, and it's like $130. So for someone just wanting to get started, not wanting to get something really expensive or custom rod, I think it'd be a good one to start with.
Perfect.
Line, I use Iser line also. Most of my setups, I have one of them with braid to leader, because that's one, if I'm going to do a big soft swim bait with a big jig hook, I want that braid to have a little bit better power for hook sets.
Are you like Mike also, where you like it balanced in your hand, the rod balanced and the reel balanced?
Yeah, and that's part of the reason I have the 200s on the shorter rods, because it balances better, and then that 300 on the 8 foot, it balances much better.
Nice.
And I use 25-pound test on the big rod and 20 on the smaller ones.
Very nice. So if you get stuck on something, you just pull your kayak in with the it's like an anchor line. Matt, what about you?
I'm still new to the swim bait game, but I've been taking recommendations from Scott. I got two of the iRods, and then I got a third one. I want to say it's a 6 cent series. I think I'm not for sure on that. But then I got 200 series Daiwas on both of my rods, 7.3 and a 7.1. Still testing with different lines, seeing which works better for me. But it's addictive once you start getting into it, and then it can be costly, but it's fun as well. Just seeing the fish come out from underneath the dock or come up from the grass or behind a big rock and stare down your bait or, swipe at it. I mean, it just gets the heart pumping. It's even better when it's a channel cat that weighs 15, 20 pounds. And you thought you had an 8-pound bass on. So,
And the channel cat never miss.
No, they don't. Either do the wiper.
Yeah.
They mean business.
changed my whole
Troy?
thinking.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Matt. Sorry, I didn't.
I was just going to say it changed my whole thinking on catfish. I always thought they were bottom feeders, and to see them come swipe a swim bait off the top of the water, they're not as docile. They're more aggressive.
Yeah. Seems like usually the channel cats will do that. Big
I
channels.
caught a flathead on a frog one day.
Really?
8-pound flathead on a frog. Yep. Ran it down.
Probably thought you had a state record bass too.
Scared the crap out of me. That thing popped it right at my feet.
Well, Troy, what about you? Do you you say you throw a mag draft, or what do you like to throw? On?
Yeah, I got a couple dedicated swim bait rods now. Been playing around with. I've got an 8-foot. I think it's a 13 fishing swim bait rod, and then I've got a Dobbin Fury. Their swim bait rod that I've been throwing on. I'll use that bigger 8-foot rod for the bigger, like 3, 4, 5 ounce bigger glides, and then that Dobbin Fury works pretty good though for the little bit smaller ones. Like I've been throwing some like chads and stuff like that with it. It works pretty good for that.
All right. 20-pound test? Or
20, 25. I've got one of them, my big rod. I've actually got braid on. But yeah, still kind of playing around with some of that. But yeah, 20, 25.
very nice. Yeah, I've got a Dobbins Fury as well, 8-foot, and I throw the cheaper baits, the shads, but I'm actually gonna put it. I'm gonna put a order in tonight, maybe, or tomorrow for the Golden Belt. I like those crankbait ones. And then I have a cheapy, what is it, the Cast King Megalodon, because I was going cheap. And that reel, I'm actually shocked. That reel, because I like Shimano's, that reel actually works really well. So, but yeah. Well, let's go back. Well, I guess, Mike, you say you fish out of a kayak as well?
I have a pedal, like it's an Old Town Phantom or something like that, PDL.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't know if there's a difference throwing that bait out of the kayak versus the boat, if there's something that you do different, or if you even throw it out of the kayak. Or...
I would need a more stable kayak to be able to stand up and throw it, but I prefer to fish out of the boat. But I do notice that I catch more fish, especially on the big baits, out of the kayak.
Really? Okay.
They're scared to death of that boat. Yeah. So much pressure these days.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Scott, is there a difference, do you think, throwing out a kayak versus a boat?
Oh, you asking me? Sorry.
Yeah, Scott.
Or have you ever thrown out of a boat?
I rarely fished out of a boat. So,
Yeah.
But I will say, like I said, I have of my setups, I have anywhere from 7.6 to an 8-foot rod, and it is a little easier to manage that 7.6 or the 7.10, but I don't have any problems with the 8-foot rod in the kayak. I am standing a lot of the times when I'm fishing the big bait, although I do sometimes throw them when I'm sitting as well. Probably 80% of the time I'm fishing targets, and as opposed to big long bombing cast, most of the time I'm pitching those big glide baits, because I'm pitching them right up next to cover, either docks or laydowns.
That's what I do.
Yeah, and especially that 8-foot rod, and you get a 3, 4, 5-ounce bait, you can pitch it a long ways.
Yeah.
And I'm
With
more
very
accurate that
little
way.
effort.
Yeah, very little effort, especially if you got the right rod with the little give to it, and I can place it a lot more lightly, so it's not just like a cannonball hitting the water. So yeah, I'm pitching that to precise targets, and twitching a few times, reeling it in, back in, so it's almost like pitching a jig. So like I said, it is, if you're in tight areas like a bunch of timber. I like Kreitzer, so I'll be out in Kreitzer in the middle of those trees. It can be a little tough sometimes with that 8-foot in the kayak, but it's you can still do it. It's not undoable in the kayak for sure.
Yeah. Matt, I know you've done some boat tournaments. What about you?
It's been a while since I've actually been in a boat.
Yeah.
So most of my time throwing a glide bait's either been off the bank or in the kayak. But then just to add on to like Scott said, if I get a new glide bait, I'll start with short pitches and work the bait several different ways, either with the rod tip or the handle or the retrieve, just to get an idea for how the bait moves through the water before I start making them longer casts. I'll do the short twitches with the rod or short cranks just to see how wide I can get it to glide. That way I just get a better feel for working the bait and get more comfortable using it around cover. So
Nice.
haven't lost one yet. I'm dreading that day, but I'm sure it's going to come sooner or later.
I'd be scared to death. Troy, we know you have a boat. What do you think? Fishing out of a boat versus a kayak and throwing big glides?
It's definitely easier out of the boat, I think. I will occasionally take a big glide rod with me in the kayak, but it's just a lot easier to have all your rods in the boat and get them out. As I alluded to earlier, it's also easier to revert back to throwing something when you're not getting bit too. So it's a double-edged sword.
Nice. Well, I know personally the glide baits I've really never caught too many big bass on them, but wipers, they don't miss a glide bait. I can tell you that when they hit. I've caught up to 8-pound wiper on them, and it's one of the funnest things ever. So I really enjoy throwing them with that. But so I guess, Mike, let's start with you. What's the biggest bait you've thrown?
We got a question
Oh,
from
we do?
Gaz. Sorry if you covered this, didn't join at the start. What's the best way to get started throwing glide baits? Just schedule a whole day. This is what I've learned. Schedule a whole day. Get your setup set up and watch the videos, see what people like to use, and expect not to catch any fish.
Watch the bait. Watch it and pay attention to what your hand is doing, and slight inputs with your hand can really change the way a bait reacts.
And we did discuss that earlier, Gaz, as well on the video. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I would
too, getting out there a time or two without the expectation of catching a fish, and just getting used to throwing that heavier bait, casting it, and getting the retrieve down. When you can see that glide in there, or whether you're chopping it or gliding it, just getting out and throwing it and getting used to throwing that heavier bait without the expectation of catching a fish, I think goes a long way. And then you can go out, I would say secondly, go out to like a high percentage area where you know that there's fish, and the first time you get one, you're addicted.
So
yeah.
And the one
I
thing
agree
that
with that.
people, I guess, to me, a lot of people are like, "Oh man, I need a real clear open area to be able to throw this glide bait." No, that's not it. You want to be throwing that thing everywhere you would throw a bandit crankbait, right by the bush, right by a stump, right. It's just like any other bait. You want to hit those targets. I see a lot of people. They're like, I need some clear water so I can, they're more worried about losing the bait than catching fish, and that won't work.
okay.
Only I knew a guy.
Yeah, I would second that for sure. That when I had a handful of glide baits before I ever really started fishing them. And one thing that held me back was the fear of losing them, because they're not cheap. even with, you know, the availability of some more affordable plastic glide baits, you know, it's relatively inexpensive, but you're still talking $30 to $60. And for a lot of people, that's going to be the most expensive lure they buy, much less going to a custom made bait. So I would reiterate what they said, go out and practice. Like Matt said, go to some place where it's clear water, where you can see what you're doing, because each bait's different. I've had baits that I went out with and I didn't like, or I didn't think they swam that good until I spent some more time with them, because you can have to fish one maybe totally different than another to get the true action out of them. So if you can go somewhere, open water, clear water, so you can see what it's doing, that way when you are somewhere when you can't see it, you know, if there's glare or dirty or water, you can feel what it's doing and you know what it's doing underwater, and you have some confidence. And then, like Mike said, you got to throw it next to the places that you're going to be a little uncomfortable about potentially losing it, but get yourself a good lure retriever for one. That was another thing. Once I got that and I was like, I think I can get this back regardless of where I hang it up, then you'll get a little more confident to throw it in the places that you need to. So that helped me just to realize that you got to throw it in the places where it might be a risk to get hung up. But for one thing, you're only fishing it most of the time, at least for me, you're only fishing it kind of subsurface, maybe a foot or two underwater. So even if it gets hung, usually you can get to it and get it free. But don't be afraid to throw it in those places or be afraid to get hung up.
So I'm gonna change my question up a little bit. Do you guys throw glide baits in muddy water?
Yeah, I do. I have. I'm more confident with a little visibility. I like at least a foot, but just because I like to see what it's doing, and it's cool to see the bites. But they have no problem finding it if they can find a weightless Cinco that I toss out there, and they can find a big glide bait.
Makes sense. All right. So Mike, let's go back to you. What's one mistake people make when they first try throwing a big glide bait?
A mistake.
What's something like a new guy would be like, oh crap, I'm not doing this ever again, because you know they make a mistake? Or
well, after every bite, after every questionable, say you're retrieving it and it got kind of hung up on a log or something for just a second, and then you got it loose. You don't know if it was the line tie that got wedged against it or if it was actually a hook. So I would say the biggest thing that I've seen is people, they'll buy an expensive bait, go out and they lose it right away because they were careless with their line. You need to retie it very often, especially if you're throwing a 4-ounce plus bait, regardless of what line you're throwing. Anytime it touches anything, it could be catastrophic for you. And then I see people, you know, putting a lot of effort into a cast. It's just not necessary with these. Let the weight do the work. Because I see a lot of people cast them off and they throw them clear out in the middle of the lake. It's like, or I don't really see it a lot. I guess I've heard of it a lot, and I'm like, yeah, you realize you can get that bait to go the same amount of distance with just a lob.
Yeah,
you know, and let your rod load up and just kind of let it go. But power casting is probably a bad thing with these.
and another question I had for you, Mike. When you see that fish come up behind that glide bait, is it when you jerk it and it comes back around to face them is when they hit it usually, or when it's facing you?
That there's not a right answer.
Okay. I didn't know a smallmouth react differently than a largemouth in that situation.
Smallmouth are more aggressive. They'll usually commit if they're going to.
Okay.
Largemouth, I've seen them follow it literally right up to the boat. I seen a guy in Texas. I was on his boat. You know how people will figure eight for a muskie?
Uh-huh.
He caught that fish. That fish followed it, one of my skies, all the way to the boat, and then he just started leading it around, and finally it ate it. I've personally never done that, but I watched him do it. So what I say, he tried stopping it, the fish just stopped. Like it just, I don't know if there's a right answer there. You know, like a lot of people say when it turns around and faces them, they'll hit it. Sometimes they swim away. Sometimes it's the quick chops that get them going, you know. Like if you're just slowly gliding it in and they're following, a couple of quick chops will get their attention really fast and make them either think they need to do something right now or they're not going to get this meal. Yeah, I can't really say what works the best there, because I've had a lot of fish follow that bait up to the boat, and I've tried everything under the sun to get them to bite, and they didn't. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's part of the fishing of it.
Yeah.
Everybody, it's happened to everyone, I think, that throws big baits. I've been down in Texas and seen those giant teeners just follow it from down deep, but wouldn't commit. I tried everything I could to get them to commit, and I couldn't figure it out. So,
well, that Josh Jones says you throw a white swim bait with no trailer on it. That's how he gets them to bite.
Yeah. Yeah, down on OHIV, I mean, the water clarity was probably like 8 feet. You could literally see these tanks come out and follow it. It's heartbreaking. Because the first time you see it, you're like, oh man, I'm onto something. And yeah, they just like to watch. So
interesting. Scott, what about you? What's one mistake people have? And then what do you think about when a big fish is on your bait? What have you found that is successful to get it to bite, like followers?
We kind of already touched on, at least the mistake I made was just being afraid to throw it. And I think people will get a glide bait and they'll tie it on at some point during the day and toss it for a little while and, you know, not have any success and just put it up. So, I mean, everybody says you got to stick with it. But like Matt was saying, I think even more important is go out for a day and practice with it. Learn how to use it. Because if you just tie it on and start throwing it and you really don't know what you're doing, it's not going to get bit. And again, depending on the bait, you're going to have to work it differently. But once you learn how to use it and get confident with it, then go out somewhere in a lake you have confidence where you can see what you're doing and toss it all day. At some point, there's a good chance that some bite window will open. And even if you only get a couple of bites, the bites you get are exciting. And like Troy said, you'll be addicted. I mean, it's
the one thing. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's similar to the topwater bite, but I think even better because it's my theory is when a bass commits to eat a big meal like that, they have to commit. They have to go up and attack it and kill it. Unlike, you know, a small bait, if you have a Ned rig or even a wacky, some slow moving bait, they can go up and kind of inspect it. And if they decide they want to eat it, they just suck it in. It's just, you know, they don't have to chase it down. If there's a big 7-9 inch fish going by or glide, if they decide they're going to eat it, they do it with force. And you'll get the just mostly violent kind of strikes. And again, the fact that you can see a lot of them,
that's awesome,
is just so cool. But yeah, what I'll do is if you see that fish come up and come out of the dock or just come up from the depths and start following it, in my experience, what I've heard from so many people is to speed it up, make it act like it's trying to get away from them. And if they're serious about it, usually they'll speed up and match the energy. And if they're going to bite it, they're going to bite it. If not, they'll tail off and they probably weren't going to bite it anyways. But the tendency is, again, the first time you see a big giant fish come up following your bait, is you freak out and you're like, oh crap. And you slow down and you stop that bait and then they stop too. And I don't think that's natural that, you know, when they're tailing a bait that it just stops. It's going to try to get away. So if you speed it up and get real aggressive with chops and make it erratic, they're more likely to, like Mike said, make a decision that they're either going to eat it or they're going to let it get away.
Yeah. I know about 3 years ago when I was at Wilson, I was on my little Outback, and I was throwing a mag draft. First time I ever thrown a big bait, and I had about a 7-pound largemouth come up behind it, and I seen it, and I panicked. I actually fell backwards and about fell out of the damn kayak. Like, well, maybe this isn't for me. Scared the crap out of me. I was like, that's giant largemouth. But yeah, so I don't know. I might have a panic attack seeing that. But Matt, what about you?
Yeah, it can be intimidating, like to try to get into it, throwing the big baits. You don't have to go out and buy $200 baits. I mean, Berkeley, they got $20 baits. So if you think it's something that you might be interested in, you could buy a $20 Berkeley bait, go out, fish with it, experiment, try it. If you like it, upgrade, try something a little better, a little pricier. Some people, I mean, you almost got to have a niche for it. Some people, pick it up, they try it, they don't like it, and then say 6 months later they decide to get back into it again. Me and Scott know somebody that he sold all his swim bait stuff, and he recently just bought a couple new baits. So he's coming back around that he wants to try it again. So, just give it a second chance. If you don't get it the first time, stick with it. Enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, somebody out there will buy it from you.
Yep.
That's how I obtained some of mine. But
that was my guess.
Who is that? An owl answering that question? Who?
I'll second what Mike said about as far as checking your line too. Sometimes I get bad about checking my knots, checking my line. When you're throwing that bigger bait, that's putting a lot of extra stress on your line if you're trying to heave it and chuck it. A nice lob is, more than enough to get it out where you need it to go. So definitely check your knots, check your line. You catch a fish, check everything. I've even gotten in the habit of retying after I caught a fish just because of that occasion. So
I've also heard you want to kind of get them in pretty quick because that bait thrashes around it and come out pretty easy out of their mouth. Is that true? Where you want to get it in a little bit faster than you would. Don't play around with it, just kind of get it in.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really set the hook on them fish. I mean, like Scott said, if they're going to eat it, they're committed to it.
Yeah.
They pretty much hook themselves, and you just kind of lean into them, and then they get hooked. And I try to get them in about as quick as I can. You let it thrash around too long with that big of a bait, he's so he can throw it if he wants. So I've had that happen as well.
Okay.
I'd say the smallmouth are worse about throwing a bait than a largemouth.
Yeah, that'd be crazy to see a big old 5-pound smallmouth on the end of a glide bait. That'd be a little stress. Troy, what about you?
I would say the biggest mistake, something these guys have already kind of alluded to, right, is getting the right rod. Big baits, you talk about a big rod, but like that 8-footer that I've got, for instance, it's a little heavier than I would like. It's a little faster. We're still talking about treble hook baits. We're talking about these fish coming up and throwing them. If you've got a little bit more give in your rod, even though you need a heavy rod to throw the big bait, but you need to have some give there. So when they do come up and try to throw it, you can absorb that a little bit better. So I think that that's all part in getting the right rod.
Okay. Mike, we're gonna go around with you. This is probably one of the last questions here. Just out of my own curiosity, what's the biggest fish you've caught on a glide bait? Either in Kansas, I'd say in Kansas actually. What's the biggest?
In Kansas? Okay, that narrowed it down. 6.5, probably a little over 6 pounds, 6 to 6.5 pounds. I don't always weigh them, so sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I know that I got a 5.3 on this one.
Yep,
that was my first glide bait. But yeah, in that same body of water, I caught some over 6. So I'd say that.
What about a smallmouth?
Oh, probably 4 to 4.5 ish. there's a lot in Wilson around that size. I haven't really caught a really giant one on a glide bait.
Yeah.
The big giant ones I've caught on a tube out there. So
Yep.
um,
We'll edit that part out.
uh,
I said we'll edit that part out. No, I know a lot
Right.
of people know that tubes work real well out there. But
yeah,
Scott, what about you?
they get the largemouth too out there too.
Yeah, they really do. Scott, what about you? Oh, I'm sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just whatever.
Yep. Scott?
On a glide, I think the longest one was this year. That 22 1/4 that I caught was on a glide bait. That was on the Clutch Boss. But I'm trying to think he was long but a little skinny, so it was 6 pounds. Trying to think here. The other two big ones I caught that were over 6 were on conventional. But yeah, that's probably the longest, and I've caught it lots and lots of 5s. And I think maybe one of my 6-pounders last year was on a glide, but those are all Kansas fish.
Yeah. Matt?
I know I've caught 20-inch fish on a glide. I've caught 16-inch fish on a glide, but definitely the glide seems to bring in the bigger fish, 20 and a half inches. Biggest smallmouth I recall was 19 and a half on a glide, so that was definitely exciting.
Yeah.
Something you don't expect, but
You won banner on a glide, didn't you? Was one of your fish, the big fish you caught was on a glide on that banner? Yep.
Yep. One of the last fish I caught up there was on a glide bait. So
Nice. Troy?
Probably biggest on the glide, probably around a 4.5. Yeah, probably about 4.5 pounds. I'm still kind of easing into it, so we'll change that in the next season or so.
Yeah, after tonight's episode, I might go throw mine back on.
It's a good time right now.
Getting me excited.
Yeah.
A-rigs and glide baits coming up here. Tony, would you like to add anything, or you got any more questions? Am I missed something?
No, actually, I think that's it. I actually really enjoyed this because I just kind of started throwing a few bigger baits this year, not often enough, not to be confident, but I was at the edge of my seat just listening because I was learning so much. So I appreciate everybody for coming on tonight. Mike, thanks for even throwing that extra bait. Truly
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Pleasure, man.
Yeah, and it's been great having you on and learning more about it. And everybody can check out order baits, get your custom baits made, all that kind of stuff. Are you doing any? You say you do some events on occasion. Are you doing any events in the near future? Anywhere around these parts, like setting up tables, anything like that?
No, down at El Dorado, they were going to have a thing, and they invited me, but they never got back with me. I don't know if they even had it. They have their open house every year. I was going to do that, but I don't know if they canceled it or what.
Is that Russell Marine or?
No, Shady Creek.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Shady Creek. Mike down there, he kind of reached out to me, and then I don't know if it's the weather that didn't do what, but probably the next thing I do will be in Boston. If you guys want to go up there,
I do actually, but what's going on there?
they have. So I go up there every year. I have for the last 3 or 4 years. But they have basically it's almost like a swim bait only show. So it's a really cool deal. They fill up a large building with guys like me, and there's everything in there.
Scott's already booked his tickets.
Yeah. I've been doing that one, doing well at it. Swim Bait Universe has a booth there. Last year it was the year before, they were right across from me, so we hung out quite a bit. But then the Bassmaster Classic was really good this year. I went down and did that. So I'm starting to hit some bigger stuff. There's a East Tennessee show that I think I'm probably going to hit, but they don't have anything around here.
Mhm.
They just don't. It's not as
Yeah.
big. It's really huge out east. And
Tony
it's
and I were
kind of
going
too
to try to work
bad.
on an expo. Tony and I were going to try to work on an expo somewhere around here for a big fishing event, but I don't know. It's just
I'll let you know.
it's just a thought right now, but we'd like to
Yeah,
put
let me
something
know.
together, winter.
There's a lot of people that will go.
Yeah.
I don't know why they ever quit doing the big shows down in Wichita, but they pretty much ended those before I started. So, you know how they used to have those in February?
Yep.
Those were a good time. I used to take the kids down there when they were real young. So I don't know why we don't do that anymore. Just don't. There must not be enough money in it.
Yeah. I don't know if you know who Marty Hughes is. Kayak Jack. He's up by Omaha, Nebraska, Auburn, Nebraska specifically. He does a little expo that he puts on. It'll be like January 31st. I'm not sure what the big bait market is up there, but he puts on a little show. The money goes back, raises money he does a lot of events for kids and stuff, getting into kayak fishing, all that kind of stuff. But that's like January 31st, and it's not real big. I mean, it's like a school.
It's like $25 a table. So
yeah, but it's really cool. So he does a pretty good job over there. But Tim and I'd like to do something like that for all the people that help out the Kansas kayak anglers. It's a good way to meet and greet people. So in the community. So
Right.
feel free to stay on the line for a few minutes, guys, after the show. And
yeah. Feel free to stay on for a minute. I don't have anything else. Like I said, thanks a lot, everybody for coming on. I'm sure everybody's hanging on this one. I think they're really enjoying it. A lot of good questions. So thanks everybody for watching. We'll be back next month. If you stayed on this long, we're working on the 2026 Kansas Kayak Anglers schedule. So we'll be probably announcing that sometime in December. We've got a few ones picked out already, and so that'll probably be our next podcast. So we'll see you then, and everybody have a good night.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. It's fun.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.